Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Gachiakuta, Season 1.
Yep, Gachiakuta, Season 1, Episode 14. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age, and we're back for more Anime Night in the Dojo. Hopefully my power doesn't go out like last week. When we were sitting there looking at the edit, I was just like, and that's where my power went out. I had to sync it up to 14 minutes there for you guys doing the timer reaction, but you can see when the power goes out and all that's left is my just my machine on the battery backup. So I don't have my modem on the battery backup, so well, it's on a different battery backup, but still well, and the power cuts, it just kind of cuts everything. So yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed losing power last week. That was cool. Luckily, it came back in a reasonable amount of time, and PG&E was just like, yeah, it was an unplanned power outage. It's like, okay, what happened? Not going to tell you. Whatever happened, Tom flipped a switch, and it took him 20 minutes to fix it. Because clearly it wasn't anything major if they immediately saw what happened 2 minutes later and fixed it within 15-20 minutes. So
I mean, they say unplanned power outage, but planned power outage is maintenance.
Yeah, and generally speaking, that's when they're doing maintenance, they put you on a backup, and you know what I mean? So they hook it up to a subsystem so that everybody keeps power, and then they reroute it, and then route it back into the main power, and then disconnect the secondary power, and then don't notice it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Does it matter? Not really. It was just kind of funny to just be kind of sitting here in the middle of a recording, and we've had times where I'm like, my internet's gone out, or Age's internet's gone out a few times. Not as many as you would think in the couple 4 or 5 years we've almost been doing this now. But I've never just been all of a sudden just in the dark. Because we were recording later, and I was just like, "Yep, sure is dark now." You go from the bright spotlight that's on me back here to just pitch black because there's nothing on. It's just hello. So anyway, that aside, Gachiakuta, we got the rest of Amo's backstory last week. We got to have a pretty serious discussion about that. So if you guys haven't seen that, go check that out because you'll need to hash that kind of thing. But hey, we saw this title last week, and we were just like, do you mean the calm before the storm? No, they mean the storm before the storm. So it's just shit going into more shit. Not, hey, now we get to have a pizza party and then shit happens.
Yeah, no, there ain't no time for calm in this thread.
Nope. So either way, looking forward to seeing how the second core starts up here with everything that's been going on, implications, all the stuff we talked about last time. So it'll be interesting to see if any of those things come together or whatnot. If we get any more of the cleaners, that kind of thing, or we're gonna kind of focus in on the current cast kind of deal. So lots of stuff to get to, obviously. So we're going to push some buttons and get going here. So people on Patreon, we'll see you on the other side of the edit for the timer stuff. And people on YouTube, we'll see for the discussion and review. And any and all links are in the appropriate places if you're looking for either and or the other version of what we're doing. You guys are on the internet. I hope you know how to use a mouse. So anyway, we're going to get going here. So here goes something. Well, alrighty then, there you guys have it. This was one hell of a thing. It had all kinds of stuff going on. World building, character development, madness, humor, hilarity, all of it. Random side characters or tertiary characters, like the guy at the bar just having his internal monologue. Attention to detail to random nonsense like that is great. And I just wanted to put this here. We talked a little bit about it at the end of the reaction there. But again, this OP was done by Callie from Hololive. She's been around for quite a while. We just talked about her a little bit. So in case you guys are wondering what the deal is with her, just search Mori Calliope. You'll find everything about her. The Hollow-Yen girl currently, and arguably the face of Hololive at this point since Gura's retirement, if you know anything about VTubers. But she is a very talented vocalist and songwriter and stuff like that. So it's cool that she was able to do this.
Oh, the English side of Hololive, anyway. There are still several of the Japanese girls that are definitely more popular than her.
Yeah. But, for the English side of stuff, she's definitely the face of it at this point. So, either way, my minor gripe here was they didn't leave her credit overlay on the screen long enough. They had 2 flashes of her thing here, and it was basically like 3 frames. And it's just like, okay, why can't you leave that credit up just a little bit longer? It's an OP, it's going to have credits. What's the big deal? Give her a chance to get some actual recognition, because some people might be like, was that Callie? And they're not going to actually like look it up or anything like that and just kind of like question it. You know what I mean? So here's your full-on credit right here. This song is called Let's Just Crash, and it's from her and Emmy Records and that kind of stuff. So there you go. There's their collab for them. But just wanted to give her that shout out, because again, I think whoever was running these overlays in this edit completely shortchanged her in how long that freaking part of the overlay was on the damn edit. Come on, it needed to be on there for at least 3 seconds, but it was on there for like 3 frames, meaning it was just like boom, boom, gone. I was just like, yeah, I saw Callie's name for a split second. Like, okay. You know what I mean? The whole purpose of credits, there are 2 reasons for them. To actually credit people for their work, and then allow the people who see said credits to know who the hell they were for multiple different reasons. If they want to hire them or just look them up or whatever, come on. You got to at least let their name be on screen for more than a quarter of a second. You know what I mean? So that's just one of my minor gripes for this, but that has nothing to do with the actual show itself. The editor, what are you doing, man? Seriously. Come on. But anyway, that stuff aside, they went back to the clinic with Alice, the renowned pollution expert, which is what we got out of this. We got to see like a little bit of her past and that kind of thing. There she is with the person that looks suspiciously like, what's their name?
Kathani.
Yeah, Kathani. So, again, this is her when she was probably slightly younger, but not that much younger. This is probably before just, when she still had hair. This could have easily been her, like, less than 5 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things, because when like radiation or pollution or anything like that finally gets to you, it's just, quick and, is what it is. And then all of a sudden you're bald. So it's one of those things Age mentioned at the end of the reaction there and during the episode. It's like, yeah, she probably went a little too hard and exposed herself to the pollution too much, and that's how she ended up as the super yelly grandma that we got here.
Yeah, no, she's freaking Marie Curie. I can't remember the freaking name. I need to look it up. Or the freaking chick freaking discovered radiation and also discovered dying to radiation.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty much the kind of like same background. Probably the inspiration for this character is probably that real life person. I don't remember that bit of trivia myself, but I know it was something to that effect. I just don't remember the name either. I know it was somebody.
Yeah, Marie Curie.
It was Marie Curie. Yeah, okay. I know she was a big deal for some reason. I know the name. It's a historical, big time name. You know what I mean? I just don't remember what she did. There's too many facts bouncing around here these days. I can't remember everything. I'm not freaking Rick from Pawn Stars, okay?
But yeah, no, she's like one of the original like people who discovered radioactivity, but also is like infamously known for the fact that she, in her radioactivity experiments, overexposed herself and got herself killed.
Right. So that was what it was. It was cool backstory for that family, that kind of thing. We had Rudo getting to be awkward multiple times in this episode. It just keeps happening in the background, and it's hilarious. And you gotta appreciate it, because you think they're not really like showing it off, but it was happening in the car. You know what I mean? It wasn't at that section of the car. It was in the early bit showing up the thing. But just like the face he's making is just like he's completely losing it because of how close she is to him. Couple frames right here. This was a couple frames. You might have missed it, but it's still happening, and it's hilarious that they keep doing it.
Yeah, everyone else is all miserable due to their injuries, but he got off basically scot-free because the only injury he had was the fatal one that got healed.
Yeah.
And so he's sitting here freaking out because Rio's touching him.
Yep. So, again, I made a joke about a pizza party. They basically had a pizza party, so F me, I guess.
Yeah, once again, like, Rio doesn't have any real qualms or even really put much thought into the whole idea of the fact that she's a girl surrounded by guys.
Yeah.
But freaking, we all know, like, Rudo is hyper aware of females because of his trauma about them.
Yeah. So this is just going to keep being a thing, and it's hilarious that they just kind of put, like, see, those kinds of things, it could have just been this right here. It could have just been Engine talking to, what's his name here? Name's Gris, and they could have just been them bitching about driving, and you don't see what's happening in the backseat. You know what I mean? That could have been the whole sequence, because it was just them talking about Engine sucking at driving. That's why he's driving.
Yeah, he sucks at driving. That's why they have him driving, so that way his sucky driving keeps everyone awake rather than just passing out because they're all so fucking exhausted from their injuries.
Right, yeah. So that's exactly why you do that. They're not nursing concussion, so why exactly do they need to stay awake? Concussion makes sense. Everybody has a concussion. I'm going to drive like shit.
Well, it's not necessarily just of like, oh no, you're injured, so you shouldn't go to sleep. It's a thing more of just they need to all stay awake on the trip, and then they need to actually be ready to do something.
Yeah, just in case they get attacked or whatever. But you know, either way, this whole thing going back to like the city where like Engine first took Rudo, that kind of thing, explaining this whole family dynamic and stuff like that. I mean, I would say the eyebrows would have gave it away, but she doesn't have eyebrows anymore, so you know she. What are you gonna do? That would have been a context clue immediately that people probably would have noticed. Would be like, oh hey, these guys have the same eyebrows as that doctor, so they're probably related. But instead, we got one of the classic tropes of, man, your food sucks, give me more.
Yeah, he keeps claiming her food sucks, but keeps eating all of it, and then freaking as soon as Rudo got a taste of it, he was just scarfing him down.
Yeah, just like going full ham on like just, you know, one of the classic other anime tropes of like, you know, everybody's gonna eat 50 like cream puffs, and when there's out of the box of cream puffs that has like 8 in it, you know, the classic infinite food box. It's great, gotta love it. But you know, that was all there. That was cool. Good for the story, that kind of thing, making those connections and whatnot. Just the extra little bit of like lore of like, you know, they mentioned like what happens like when the sphere passes over and you have to have like protection from whatever rain. The real question for me is, where do they keep getting all the materials to make more stuff?
Yeah, that was one thing that we questioned like the first episode when we realized, well, like at first was like made apparent that the whole thing of like they were just like a floating sphere.
Yeah, so clearly,
how are they resupplying?
Yeah, so that'll be kind of like an interesting thing to. Does it really matter? No, but for just kind of like a bit of realism, it'd be interesting if it was like, oh yeah, we have like replicator technology, or there's this guy that can like make metal or something. You know what I mean? I don't care what it is. It can be stupid as hell. Just, you know, explain.
It's probably something to do with anima.
Yeah.
Of some sort. Like, maybe not specifically a giver, but like some form of anima technology.
Maybe something like the cow from season 1 of Peacemaker. I don't care. You know what I mean? Maybe they just have some creature that's, you know, like the Slurm Queen from Futurama. Well, whatever. Who cares? You know, just it'd be kind of neat to just address that, because they've been addressing pretty much everything else. So at some point, it'd be interesting to see how the sphere gets its, you know, materials to continually be wasteful.
Yeah, I know the sphere is still largely unknown in the source material, like even like up-to-date stuff. The story has been pretty much entirely focused around the ground.
Right.
But there is some stuff that has still come up. Like I said, I do have like one vague spoiler-ish thing for like how the border works that I've mentioned.
Yep. Anyway, we got the back route. We got the Marauders again. We got, well, once again, I mentioned it during the live reaction, was this right here just reminds me of one of the classic episodes. Not saying that every episode of Firefly isn't classic, because it is. But there's, it might have actually been in the movie. I don't remember if it was in an episode or a movie. I think it was an episode. But Wash pulls Serenity up in front of people that are like attacking the rest of the crew, and he just gets on the comm and is just basically threatens them like this. And it's just like, yeah, you guys better get out of here before I blow a hole in this tiny moon. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, and the joke is Serenity has 0 armaments. And they don't realize that, so they all go back into the bar. And friggin' Adam Baldwin's character is just like, when he goes back into the ship, he's just like, yeah, friggin' idiots don't even know a transport ship doesn't have armament. That's friggin' hilarious.
Farscape does something kind of similar in that, like, their main ship doesn't have any sort of armaments until, like, way later towards, like, the end of the series. Everyone expects it to not have armaments because that kind of ship doesn't normally have armaments. Like, their whole thing is, like, the ship is like a biomechanoid, and those kind of ships don't usually have armaments until they have a freaking super weapon attached to it and blap an entire planet when no one expects them to have an armament on it.
Yeah, why not? So it's just one of those things that's always kind of interesting. This, they almost went full one art style here. Like, this is like almost full on like the classic Tatsumaki look. You know what I mean?
Those lines are far too straight.
Yeah, they are a little too straight. So that is what it is. But that was a good one. They got a they didn't pull. They went, did you just assume my gender on them? But then, you know, not even like as like a dig at her potentially being a guy. Just, she was just flat out messing with them.
Yeah,
it's like, man, you guys are so gullible. You believe anything. But yeah, it was one of those things when they first attacked the building that I was like, so the whatever, what did they call it, the magician or the wizard or whatever,
the shut-in.
The shut-in, yeah. But the I assumed that the person that had the pen, the giver from the other city, like,
the spellcaster.
protected. Yeah, the spellcaster. I assumed that was like, well, the spellcaster protected Cleaner HQ, right? So this is pointless.
Well, yeah, like, we know that previous Gremlin hasn't been there yet, as far as we know, but we know previous spellcasters have put art and wards up around Cleaner HQ. Yeah.
Yeah. So I assumed that was going to be the thing. Was like, you know, the previous spellcaster, like with the graffiti that they put up. Job was like, you know, protected Cleaner HQ from, you know, reasonably small attacks, or like they said, people being able to enter the building in any kind of way, shape, or form, like they had with the other city. So I assumed that's what it was. But no, they have their own in-house defensive person, which they explain that there are people who are attackers and or defenders, various traits of their item and or how they choose to wield it.
Yeah. So like, Semiyu can't really fight trash beasts because she doesn't have any sort of offensive anima abilities, and you need those in order to actually kill a trash beast. However, her ability to literally see everything about everything makes her an incredibly difficult opponent.
Yeah. And obviously she's just a tough fighter in general from hand to hand. So, you know, yeah, she might not be useful against Trash Beast, but against people she can actually read, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, she could probably still read a Trash Beast. The problem is just, once again, she can't actually damage a Trash Beast because you need to use anima to damage a Trash Beast, and she can't generate any sort of anima attacks.
Yeah. So there's that. That was cool. She had her own sequence, completely took out all the idiots that were informed at the bar. We had this guy's internal monologue. I talked about that during the episode. That was freaking hilarious. Him being just completely off-put by all of them, and once again, completely misreading all of them. Just entirely. You can think about how you want about people, but once again, back to Ruto's awkwardness. What look is that? That is the look of awkward.
That is the look of, oh god, Ryu just indirect kissed my glass.
Yeah. So they're gonna keep it up, and it's hilarious as like a background thing. That's just usually they kind of like make that a forefront, you know, for like even like shonen stuff, where you know it's like the Ochako Deku thing or whatever, you know, the Orihime Ichigo thing, whatever it is, you know, the Naruto Hinata stuff, whatever. But in this case, it's in like the background, and it makes it funnier.
Yeah, so like they've done a weird thing in general with like Rio and Rudo in that they haven't really established it as like any sort of legit romance option as a possibility of even being a thing, really. Like, it's just, once again, Rio is very tomboyish. It doesn't really like take any sort of real considerations over the fact that she's like one of the only girls in the group. Meanwhile, Rudo, because of his past trauma and issues and whatnot, is just hyper aware of anything any female does. Like, he gets super defensive when Yuta comes in later, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it just ends up being like a constant sticking point of like a one-sided thing of him always freaking out about everything she does.
Yep. So, and they've done a good job of not making it like the thing that's happening. It's just a thing that happens. And those are two very specific things. The thing that's happening here is them talking about, you know, why they're having the party and that kind of thing. But the thing that's happening in the background is the hilarity. They don't make it like a forefront thing. It's just something that happens because while it's happening, it's not happening to him. It's not his internal thoughts of like, you know, yeah, we got his internal thoughts of, oh, you know, her lips were on the glass, but the rest of it was this guy here having his internal monologue and freaking out. So it's not the spotlight of the sequence. This guy is the spotlight of the sequence. So it's just those subtle differences that make it different and more hilarious for what they're doing.
Yeah, it's just him seeing Rudo freaking out and then getting freaked out himself, not knowing why Rudo's freaked out, and just getting in his own head, freaking out and running away.
Yep. So you got to appreciate stuff like that. And again, they were. I mentioned this at the end of the reaction here was when they were talking about her. You know, just like, you know, they were explaining like the whole defense stuff and the difference between like an attacker, defender, people who, you know, choose to, you know, use their instruments, how they use them and that kind of thing. But they showed her at the desk, and I want to find it because I was just like, hold on a second. How does she have long flowing hair? What's happening? You know what I mean? Yep, there it is. What kind of product turns her hair like that? Like to like the short like fro style, and this is her hair? What's happening? You know what I mean? So unless this was like her in the past or something, I just want to know what kind of product allows your hair to do that, because I want it.
I believe, just from a quick glance, that yes, that is supposed to be a younger version of Semiyu when she like first joined.
Yeah, that might have been like a first join thing, because I'll just let him talk here. I shouldn't get copyrighted for just this little bit, right? It couldn't possibly happen. So I just want to hear what they say again. Not that you guys can hear this anyway. It's on a different audio track. Okay, so it's just she always wanted to work an office job, but that could have been her when she was younger and when she just joined the cleaners, and... Okay.
Yeah, I was very quickly glancing over some stuff on the frickin' on the wiki, like, clearly avoiding spoilers, but like one of the first like gallery pictures of her is labeled as younger Semiyu.
And that's a different outfit.
Yeah, and it's this exact picture, just in black and white manga form.
Got it, yeah. Because her outfit's definitely slightly different, so that is probably younger her. So that makes more sense than a crazy hair product, which would have been kind of fun, but we took care of that like I wanted to, so... the other major thing here was, Team Child. Okay.
Yep.
We're obviously going to get more of them, obviously, because they got sucked into the manhole at the end of the episode here. But
Yeah.
once again, when we're talking about random comedic sequences and stuff like that, this right here is just like, how do you not remember me? I was in the room with the other, 20-something people that I saw for 2 seconds before Engine closed the door because he said nobody was going to be here.
Yeah, this is basically all of the cleaners, including some of the ones that we haven't been introduced yet, like the freaking the masked guy there on the left, and shut-ins there even. And then there's I believe there's another guy just behind. Yeah, you can kind of see them poking out there, just below the masked guy.
Yeah. So yes, that is absolutely not a proper introduction. Opening the door and saying, yeah, nobody's going to be here, and then immediately closing it and walking away. That's not really a lasting impression. So, the hilarity, the personal space, gotta enjoy it. That was all handled really well. And
yeah.
Then we got this sequence. So once again, pacing of the episode was great. The hilarity was there, all of it. And,
Yeah, just what Rudo needed, freaking, from a girl who doesn't really even see herself as a girl most of the time to a girl who has zero personal space boundaries.
Yep. So I wish him the best of luck with his current side job thing endeavor. His side problem endeavor. It's just going to be a thing that keeps happening until he finally gets laid, right? It's going to be like Shinji from Evangelion. Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever saw. I forgot what the name of the comic strip was, but it was one of the ones that always stuck with me. It was just one of the characters of the comic strip watching Evangelion, and she was just sitting there, and it's just like, fuck her. No, what about fucking her? Fuck him. Whatever. Just fuck anybody. And then it's just Shinji in the corner. It's like, I'm lonely. It's just like, we've been doing this for 15 years. At some point, you just need to go out and get laid. Problem solved, right?
I mean, as far as characters that we know of, if Rudo, from just, once again, we're not really putting any real emphasis on romance as a subplot, at least not yet. If Rudo's probably going to get with anyone, it'd probably be Amo or Rio.
Yeah. But still, it's just one of those things where at some point, you just got to go full Venture Brothers with it. Just go full Brock Sampson, whatever. Just get it over with. Even if it is another messed up chapter in the Venture story. We talked about really shit dads before, yeah. Jonas Venture Sr., but everything that even happened with all the way down to freaking Hank and Dean. Just, all of it. Ugh. Just think of who Hank lost his virginity to. As funny as they tried to play it off, it's really messed up. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where just everything about the Venture Brothers, as big of a comedy and stuff as that was, there was some really messed up stuff in those storylines. Across the board. And it all comes back to one man. Jonas Venture Sr. One man. This wasn't a collection of people. One man. So, yeah. Either way, once again, with this, we drew parallels to the Shigaraki stuff when he's talking to Deku in the mall and stuff like that. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, new leader, guy who got their shit together, and he just openly announced it, just right up there with, "Hey, Aaron, I'm the Armored Titan, and Bertold is the Colossal." I remember when I watched that, I was just like, "Did somebody troll dub this? What the hell was that?" That was one of the few times where I legitimately did a double take when I was watching something for the first time, and I went back and I was just like, hallucinating? Did they really just say that out loud? And just I had my suspicions with those two guys in that show, but it's just did they just drop it in the middle of nowhere like it was nothing? What the hell was that? So this was right up there with that in a way, but still, it's just it's the villain just kind of yeah, hey, it's me. I'm the big bad, and I'm up in your face, and I got you, nerd.
I'm the big bad, I'm up in your face, and I'm even going to up the stakes by openly declaring that I've done something to Amo.
Yeah, which, well, not the greatest thing that you want to do there, but, you know, that is what it is. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but this escalated quickly. Literally. I mean, you know, I don't know if the plan was to drag all of them in. I assume the plan was just to get Rudo. But they probably have like they probably had a contingency of bringing in more, you know, accidentally bringing in more people because they had these guys here ready.
Yeah, the reason why everyone's there is probably because, like, the ideal situation was just getting Rudo and pulling him through the manhole, but in the event other people got drug in as well, they were all hands on deck.
Right. And we talked about the janitor's closet. What is it with Ian Sinclair having characters that are just in places like this? What the hell? It just keeps happening. It happened last season when he was the fire mage guy in solo leveling and he blew up all the ant tunnels. You know what I mean? What the hell?
Yeah, no, like, so we knew Kathani's power was portals of some sort, but this is the first confirmation we got that she has a full-on janitor's closet going on, which one of the things I was going to mention is this is probably where the Raider HQ is probably in the janitor's closet from what little we've seen of it.
Yeah. So, we got a little bit more on her power that was inferred, and something that we can probably theorize on here is the fact that she probably has to have the portal open for a certain period of time because she wasn't able to close it immediately. It was still fairly quick because these got the support cast here, the supporters weren't able to get across the room and get there in time. You know what I mean? But it was still enough time for the others to react and do something about it. So it's probably a very small time frame, but it probably has to be open for a reasonable amount of time compared to running across a room. So she can't just open and close it in, like, you know, a quarter of a second. You know what I mean? So
we'll have to see. Like, it could also be that, you know, getting everyone in but the supporters was part of the plan because they want to try to get rid of the cleaners.
Yeah.
And she did have enough control to just be like, yeah, we got everyone, now we'll leave.
Yeah. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens with that. But again, you got to give props to them giving this, like, the random, like, the bar owner of the line of, you know, and they didn't pay. That's why it's a tragedy. It's not a problem that they got abducted. It's the fact that they didn't pay their bill. So it's little things like that that are always freaking hilarious that are just like random to this. So we got a classic WWE showdown right here. Yeah. Two factions.
We have the three Raiders that we know. Jabber, Kathani, and the boss, and then the three other Raiders that we don't know yet.
Yep.
Versus Team Akita and Team Child.
Yep. So,
which I knew Team Child's name and I knew that they existed. They've already been shown in the anime. But I don't really know anything beyond about their powers apart from the fact that they're generally more of a support team, from what I know. Whereas Eager and Akita are more of the actual attacker team.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but it'll probably come down to the newer characters doing things. You know what I mean? Whatever their powers are, whatever they're capable of doing. Because if any of Team Child is like a defender, that means they could have something that could get them out of this situation as like a defensive thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because once again, with Senyu, we already established that defenders can still be fully capable of combat. They're just incapable of fighting trash beasts because of how their powers work.
Yeah. So, Second Corps has escalated quickly. That's why it was the storm before the storm, not the calm before the storm, because there was no calm. We just went from one problem to another.
Yeah, we went from the stinger of Amo being abducted to... or attacked or whatever, to freaking the boss coming in being like, yeah, I attacked Amo.
Yeah, what of it? just full on. Yeah, I did it. Here's my trophy. Here's my Shula Fala. I can make another WWE reference. He's Bronson Reed. Though he's a little smaller than Bronson Reed. But either way,
The big question is really going to be if he can actually use the boots now that he has them.
yeah. So that'll be
We still don't know of if a person can use multiple of the series items at the same time.
Yep.
We just know that whole thing of like they choose their wielders.
And obviously, this guy is probably a reasonably effed up individual, so he probably already passes that first qualification. It's just how much rebound is he potentially going to get. So, anyway, that's all I got for this week. There was a ton to talk about, I know, but this episode had a lot. So what are you gonna do? So you got anything else, Age?
I don't know. I think so.
Alrighty then. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, beyond whoever you're watching, as always, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us here in the dojo for more Anime Night in the Dojo. Gachiakuta, Season 1, Episode 14. Next time you guys see me, I will have far less beard because the baseball playoffs are over and my stupid superstition of not shaving during them is over. And we won the World Series back-to-back. Go Dodgers. Yay. It worked, right? It was all me for not shaving for, 3 weeks. I'm losing my mind. I'm probably going to go shave immediately after this recording session because I can't cope with it. But I can't because then it's going to look stupid, so I have to at least do the second part of the recording session for the other 2 shows. So I'll probably be clean shaven mostly for Has-Been because while I can deal with the beard, it just, I have to keep taking it off.
Yeah, my own beard's starting to get unruly again. I'll probably have to trim it down.
Yep. So just had to make a beard joke and I wanted to work in the Michael Scott. I'm not superstitious. I'm a little bit stitious joke, but I really couldn't get it up. So I apologize, office people. So anyway, everybody, have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.